I can't lie. I think I'm getting a little bit burnt out on the whole war thingy. I think I basically said what I wanted to. I've had a few epiphanies along the ways. I feel like I learned a thing or two by listening to some people, thinking about what's going on, and drawing my own conclusions. I think a little bit at least, went back on some of the things I believe to be true. Just, yeah, I think I had I think I changed significantly because of this, and engaging in it in as much as I have. And at the same time, man, it's so exhausting. So I think I need to give my brain a rest or something. I'm sure I have something to contribute along the way still, but you know, I don't want to be too much of a hypocrite telling you that this is a quagmire that we're supposed to get stuck in one of them, right? Definitely the people that are there, they have no choice. While at the same time, rambling on about this shit. So, yeah, I mean, we live in very interesting times, and it's good to think. I think we all enjoy thinking. And once again, yeah, the whole process, not to make it too much about myself, but yeah, it's definitely changed me. And I think also because becoming a parent changes your priorities just change. You see the world differently, and yeah, you think twice about doing certain things you may have done in the past, because it's really no longer about just yourself, right? And also, however real or however fake the things on the ground in Ukraine are, no doubt bad things are happening, and seeing that, and then just putting your family in that same situation, and even yourself, because I do consider it, it's been on my mind, and I've been wondering, like, well, what if they want to give us a war down here too? You know what I mean? Gift us an armed conflict. They can do this, right? Well, what would I do? You know what I mean? And yeah, the instinct is to just be like, well, of course I would fight, right? But then at the same time, fight for what, right? Well, what about my family? If, because if it were just you, right? And I think this is how they get a lot of these young boys. They brainwash them with these various ideas, nationalism or whatever the fuck have you, and they have them engaged in these conflicts because, well, they're young, dumb, and full of you know what, and like whatever the fuck his name was in Boys in the Hood. They just don't give a fuck, right? Anyway, people have been asking me, yeah, we're gonna ramble in this one. What's been going on the homestead? And same old, new life all the time, and then some. Or you know, we got a little human now too. So yeah, we're gonna have a string of goats giving birth. That one just did happened, was born 2 nights ago or something. I made that video about, what was the title? Story time or something like that. Talking about things and, you know, occurrences, um, putting things out there, and then things, getting it back from the universe, or just putting something out there and it coming back to you, right, in one way or another. And it must have been 3 days ago, I think. I was taking out some frozen pork from the freezer and seeing that, we ate through probably about a pig, and maybe there's another one left, and not quite. Looking at our meat supplies dwindling, I said to my wife and some friends that we better grow these pigs faster, right? We need to replenish. Soon we're gonna have to replenish the freezer, right? And it wasn't but 15, 20 minutes later, maybe an hour, there was a knock on the gate, and someone offered me a donkey. Now, they're cheap too. Now, it's not a pig, but meat is meat, right? And if you're on top of the food chain, you do what you do, right? So I purchased this donkey, and he's a little bit under the weather, I guess. He's older, and he was worked very, very, very hard hauling sugarcane, and yeah, he needs to rest a little bit. He needs to be taken care of a little bit, fattened up, and then it's gonna be off to the shadow realm and my freezer. So yeah, I was not worrying, but just kind of planning and foreseeing the future, talking about, we better do something, because I don't like purchasing meat. I still do very little, but I don't like doing that. And bam, meat. It just came to me. So there's maybe 200 pounds of just pure meat, basically storing itself, right? You just gotta give it a little bit of grass, maybe some mineral salt, and some water here and there. And we got plenty of grass, that's for sure. Especially now that it's been raining a lot, and land has been sliding all over the damn place. Giving me all this work I didn't want to be doing, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I'm gonna eat some donkey. Maybe make a video about that. We'll see. But yeah, like I said, I asked God for rain, and my God, did we get a lot of rain. So thank you, but be careful what you wish for, I guess. Things started to get loose, slide. Some old infrastructure I had installed many years ago, like that electric post over there. Were compromised, destroyed, whatever the hell have you. But it's not a big deal because, well, we finally got the municipio, to install some infrastructure. So my own electric installation, I guess, had become defunct and superfluous. And, so I guess I'm going to recycle some wood and build a little barn for all these kid goats that are coming very, very, very soon. And yeah. The farm workout continues. I gotta have quite a few landslides I need to move, so that's gonna be a project and a half. We live in some very interesting times. I ain't gotta tell you that, and it's interesting how when the whole COVID hullabaloo started and people were warning about food shortages. Fact checkers got involved. I guess some people got censored a little bit. It wasn't all that cool to talk about food shortages, right? But there's another landslide. A couple of years later, and now you got prime ministers and presidents talking about food shortages. I mean, is it fear mongering? I mean, probably to a degree, but at the same time, with Bill Gates buying up all this farmland and Europe's breadbasket getting bombed the fuck out of, and that whole quagmire there, in this global economy that we live, the effects of that whole thing there are going to reverberate throughout the whole world. Maybe no one can really predict how badly who's going to be affected depending on where they live, but it's good to be ready, man, because who knows what else these bastards have cooked up for us, right? So, I don't know. I've been pouring some concrete lately using the cement mixer. Man, I don't know if any of you have ever done that. Like that, I'm not talking about a big concrete truck pulling up and just dumping all that concrete, for you to spread around. I mean, I'm sure that's hard enough as it is, but mixing concrete and pouring a slab using a concrete mixer, that is some hard work, man. So I have some more concrete slabs I need to be pouring in some of these animal installations and maybe other places. Had to borrow a neighbor's pig. Not too happy with him insofar as a stud, which is why I purchased this guy who's still too young to do the deed. But in the meantime, I got that ugly pig that's over there getting his job is done. The ladies looks like they're pregnant. They're gonna be popping out some piglets in some months. So he's going home tomorrow. I'm gonna return him, and that's less work for me. But yeah, one of our pigs, we butchered one, sold a bunch, butchered one, and then her sister, got herself caught up on something somewhere and put a big hole in her thigh, the size of my hand. I mean, I tried stitching her, but then I decided, let's just put her in the freezer. So there she is, or whatever's left of her, I guess. What else do we have here? So we're down to 2 sows, or breeding female pigs. Both of them seem to be pregnant, so there's gonna be piglets running around soon. Maybe we'll roast one and make a video about all that. So yeah, I guess, yeah, there was one of the bigger landslides we had this year. Kind of buried some of our pig hostels over there, pig accommodations. So the ladies have been free 100% of the time, just running around the pasture. I have to fix up their accommodation so they could go, sleep under a roof at night. Just more work, right? Be careful what you ask for. But yeah, it is what it is. It's gonna be another farm workout, I guess. But Floyd seems to be enjoying her freedom 24/7, and I'm pretty certain she's pregnant. If she doesn't go into heat tomorrow, her boyfriend's he's going back home, and I think mission accomplished. So yeah, man, meat everywhere. Definitely gives you that feeling of security. So, I don't know. I cut up that post, light post I had installed that was kind of coming down. Oh, there are the goats. They wanted to come back home early today, I guess. Yeah, I split the log into 4 pieces. I'm gonna use that to build a little barn for all the kids that are on the way, plus the 2 that are already here. I don't know, maybe I'll make a video about that. Maybe I won't. But yeah, man, just been staying busy and getting ready, I guess, or maintaining a certain level of readiness, which is, you know, I guess something I should probably advocate more on this channel, but shouldn't, right? How do you justify that? Chainsaw ran out of gas, I guess. Kind of a pain to get it going again after that happens. But yeah, I was thinking, maybe some tips or solutions for the good people out there. Seeing as they want to take our meat away, we all gotta prepare, and not everybody's gonna be able to do what I do, and some of the things I will talk about here in just a second. Most anyone can probably do, right? I certainly, well, I intend to, let's just put it that way. But, it's good to have a boom boom stick, right? For, especially now that you just never know when the powers that be might want to gift you a war, right? So for protection, or whenever, in case the zombies show up. But I don't need to tell you guys that. But to the people who are afraid to do what it is that has to be done because legal laws and shit, consider getting air rifles, right? Now, not very good for defense, I guess, but better than nothing, right? But definitely could come in handy when, looking to procure some food. You could, get any kind of bird with like a 177 or a 22 millimeter air rifle, right? Shit, I've seen people taking out like 50-pound pigs if you shoot them in the head just right with a 22 millimeter, I think it was, or 20, I don't think it's 22 millimeter, but a 22 air rifle. And I think you could probably even get small deer with that thing, or anything smaller than a deer. Coyotes, probably. Not to say you should be eating dogs, but shit hit the fence, hits the fan, you may want to, right? Or you may not have a choice. So yeah, for all the people out there who are saying, well, guns are illegal where I live. Well, are all kinds of guns illegal where you live? It might not be a bad idea to get a nice little break barrel Hudson, or one of them cheaper ones that are pretty good anyway. Well, whatever you can afford, I guess, right? So there's an idea, right? Get an air rifle and practice shooting pigeons or rabbits, and it's food too. I would know But I hear you can, if you take some small fish hooks and hang them up in a tree that birds like to frequent, and maybe put some soaked corn on some of them or all of them, it could be that you leave those there for 24 hours or so, come back the next day, and you just may, I don't know, you just may have a Christmas tree full of pigeon pies, you know what I mean? Cruel, but shit. Are you on top of the food chain, or are you on top of the food chain, right? In other words, there are so many ways to like trap animals. Very slick, if you will, very innovative. Uh, Ways that wouldn't occur to most people. Ways of procuring, food. Like using bottles instead of sitting there with, which, could be fun if you're into that and you got the time. Instead of sitting there at your local nearby body of water with a fishing pole, hoping that something bites. Um, you could fashion like Coke bottle traps, or bigger, depending on what it is that you're going for, right? Bait them, dump them in the lake, river, whatever the hell you have in your area, and wait for fish to populate them, and come back the next day. You don't have to sit there and do it, and you could catch fish. It's easier than you think. There's so many ways to trap animals. Well, a lot of us don't know how, because we've lost the necessity to do these things. So I think it's good to at least learn the theory, right? Not saying you have to go out there and do this right now, but if you're worried about the future and you can't necessarily have a homestead or your own farm or whatever have you, like there's ways, uh, educate yourself on how to procure food in SHTF type situations, right? I forget if it was a book I was reading or listening to the story on the radio. Maybe it was an audiobook. I don't remember. But apparently there was this guy who took horsehair, maybe like an inch long, and skewered raisins with that, and then tossed those horsehair skewered raisins in the Queen's forest, where there were some royal pheasants running around, and these things apparently love raisins, but the hair gets stuck in their throat or maybe their crop. Very, very unfortunately, I guess. And whatever happens there, I don't know exactly. I've never tried this. It knocks them out, and they just fall right there and go to sleep. They don't die, but it just like immobilizes them, knocks them out. And then this dude apparently just showed up the next day with the bag and loaded it up with a whole bunch of pheasants, right? And then you pull the raisin out, or fuck it, just chop their heads off as they are, right? Maybe. If you're into that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I think it might not be a bad idea, even if you live in the city, right? To scope out spots where you could go if need be, right? Hey, maybe the shit never hits the fan and you just can't get meat, but you want it, right? Scope out spots where you could procure meat. Shit, if it's your local park in Sydney that has geese on the lake, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm sure you could find a way to eat those too. I'm not recommending anybody does that, but survival, right? And it is what it is. Yeah, I think like myself, and I was watching a video on salt pork, right? Or basically just ways of preserving meat without refrigeration, right? There's some interesting videos about that. So I got about 80 pounds of salt just sitting there in the case I need it. And I just may one day. So basically, yeah, just it's all fine and dandy to talk shit, exchange ideas, and commiserate about the terrible things that some terrible people out there are doing, and how seemingly good people don't seem to be able to call black black and white white. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's unfortunate that this happens, and it's interesting to talk about why these things happen. But just commiserating, just talking shit without, giving any solutions, well, I feel like that would be hypocritical on my part. So get ready, people, right? Or stay ready. Maintain a certain level of readiness, whatever that means for you in your particular area, right? Um, most people are so domesticated and dumbed the fuck down. It's not likely that you have a lot of competition procuring whatever the hell it is you gotta procure when that need arises. You know what I mean? Um, just by educating yourself a little bit, and maybe putting some of that knowledge into practice, like hunting, trapping, uh, animal husbandry, whatever it may be that that could potentially work for you. You know what I mean? With just like some basic ideas and some basic skills, that's gonna put you so much further ahead of 99% of people out there, right? Now, I ain't talking about some of these communities and some of these places in the world where like hunting is commonplace and all that other stuff. I mean, that's a different story. But you know, depending on what those communities look like, if shit really hits the fan, there might be just you know too many cooks in the kitchen and not enough to eat. So maybe you do want to be around a whole bunch of, and I'm reminded of the Bay Area, living in the Bay Area, whole bunch of, soft domesticated people who see a pheasant or a wild turkey and they run away in fear. You know what I mean? Maybe you do want to live there. I remember people in the Bay Area when certain wild birds would just like come into their yards uh, and just sit on the roofs and shit all over the damn place, eat their lawn, eat maybe some blueberry bushes that they had outside of their house, right? These birds would like descend on some of these cribs, and this would once in a while be on the news, and these clowns were afraid to leave their house, right? Now I know these birds are, I guess, protected or whatever. Hilarious. But like if that was me, you know what I mean? I'd be like, sweet, turkey dinner. I wish, I wish some of these bastards would try to fuck with my yard. You know what I mean? Um, I remember, I forget the guy's name now, but some ex-vegan dude was making videos about how, he had some beautiful garden in Seattle. Oh, why can't I think of his name? Anyway, and sometimes deer would visit his garden and plunder. And the only thought on my mind was bow and arrow or a silencer. You know what I mean? Like, it's, this isn't difficult, right? But I guess we're all different. So yeah, man. do what you gotta do. Prepare and, you know, get the fucking toilet paper before the crowds. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm sure you do. Anyway, that's my long little ramble about what's been going on in my neck of the woods, and how we're again maintaining a certain level of readiness, which never quite feels like enough. You know, there's always work to be done, but hey, it's something, right? So, you know, it's fine and dandy. We could talk all the shit we want to talk, but at some point you got to draw some conclusions and provide some solutions, right? These may not be the best, you know, but this is what I got. This These are some of the things that I'm doing, and you know, um, no matter how bad shit may get, and we do live in interesting times yet again. Um, yeah, just be ready, and you know, have a plan, have some skills, or at the very least some theory, and that in and of itself will, you know, have some food stored up, things of that nature, and that in and of itself will give you enough security, good feels, and time to plan out your next step without panicking. You know what I mean? So, yeah, people, get ready and, you know, raise the next generation, right? Generation A. Um, the people that are, you know, gonna have to right this ship, I guess. Take over, um, and fix all the messes that we created. You know what I mean? So that's all I got. All right? We could all yap. I know I can. I could just go on talking, but ultimately, I think the message is that we should all be doing something. Whatever that is, well, that's up to you. We should all be doing something, because just talking and nihilism, come on, man. That shit's for the birds. Which are quite tasty, some people say. Take it easy.